The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Julia Roberts and that she was married to Lyle Lovett. For years, the end of Julia Roberts' marriage to country singer Lyle Lovett has remained one of Hollywood's most intriguing and mysterious love stories. Their whirlwind romance in the early 80s captivated the public, and their sudden split just 2 years later left everyone asking the same question. What really happened? Was it the pressure of living under the media spotlight? Was there something more beneath the surface? For decades, fans and tabloids have speculated about the reasons behind their unexpected separation, with some even suggesting everything from infidelity to the contrasting worlds they inhabited. But despite the years of intense scrutiny, Julia Roberts remained tight-lipped, refusing to address the real story. Now, after 25 years of silence, the actress has finally spoken out, and the truth is more complicated and possibly more surprising than anyone could have imagined. In a rare, candid interview, Roberts reveals the truth about why she walked away from the man she once called her husband. The answer might challenge everything you thought you knew about the couple and leave you questioning what really goes on behind closed doors in the lives of the rich and famous. Julia Roberts quietly built a 30-year career as Hollywood's top leading lady. There are few names in Hollywood that shine as brightly or as enduringly as Julia Roberts. For over 3 decades, she's captured hearts around the world with her radiant smile, captivating performances, and undeniable charisma. Dubbed America's sweetheart by both the media and her millions of fans, Julia Roberts represents a rare blend of talent, grace, and longevity in an industry that's constantly evolving. But what is it that makes Julia Roberts so special? Why does her name continue to carry weight in an era filled with rising stars and fast-changing trends? To understand that, we have to go back to where it all began and explore not just her career, but her character. Julia Fiona Roberts was born on October 28, 1967, in Smyrna, Georgia. Raised in a creative household, her parents were actors and ran a theater school for children. Julia was surrounded by storytelling and performance from a young age. Still, her path to acting wasn't a straight line. Initially, Julia aspired to be a veterinarian, but after high school, she made the bold move to New York City to pursue acting, joining her brother, Eric Roberts, who was already making a name for himself in the industry. Julia's striking screen presence was impossible to ignore, and it wasn't long before casting agents began to take notice. Her breakout role came in 1988 with the film Mystic Pizza, a coming-of-age drama that gave audiences their first real glimpse of her charm and talent. But it was her performance in Steel Magnolias in 1989 that truly catapulted her into the spotlight. For her role as the spirited Shelby Eatonton, Roberts received her first Academy Award nomination, an early indication that she wasn't just another pretty face in Hollywood, she had genuine acting chops. Then came Pretty Woman in 1990. The romantic comedy, co-starring Richard Gere, became a massive global hit and solidified Julia Roberts as a bona fide movie star. Her portrayal of Vivian Ward, a complex character full of warmth, vulnerability, and humor, struck a chord with viewers and critics alike. The film's commercial success and cultural impact made her one of the highest-paid and most recognizable actresses of the decade. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Julia Roberts proved she was more than just a romantic lead. She took on a variety of roles that showcased her versatility, from legal thrillers like The Pelican Brief, to heartfelt dramas like Stepmom, to light-hearted comedies such as My Best Friend's Wedding and Notting Hill. Her ability to move seamlessly between genres made her one of the most bankable stars of her generation. In 2000, she delivered what many consider her most iconic performance in Erin Brockovich. Playing the title role, Roberts portrayed a real-life legal assistant who took on a powerful corporation accused of water contamination. Her performance was gritty, emotional, and inspiring. It earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress, making her the first woman to receive a $20 million salary for a single film and proving beyond a doubt that she had staying power. While her films have reached millions, it's Julia Roberts' off-screen personality that has earned her just as much admiration. Known for her quick wit, grounded nature, and infectious laughter, she has maintained a relatively low-key public image, especially considering her level of fame. Roberts has often spoken about the importance of balancing her professional life with her personal one. Despite being one of the most photographed women in the world during the peak of her fame, she has managed to maintain a sense of privacy that many of her peers have struggled to achieve. She's also known for being deeply loyal to her family, her friends, and her values. Whether it's choosing meaningful roles, supporting humanitarian causes, or simply taking time away from the spotlight to raise her children, Julia Roberts moves with a sense of intention. In 2002, Roberts married cinematographer Daniel Motor, whom she met while filming The Mexican. Together, they've built a quiet and grounded life, far from the Hollywood scene. The couple has 3 children and spends much of their time on their ranch in New Mexico, away from the frenzy of Los Angeles. Julia has often spoken about how becoming a mother transformed her worldview. In interviews, she's described parenting as her greatest joy and responsibility, saying that her role as a mother comes before anything else, including fame and work. This commitment to her family life has only deepened the public's respect for her, showing that the glamorous star also leads a very relatable life when the cameras are off. In the past decade, Julia Roberts has continued to challenge herself with a range of roles. Films like Eat, Pray, Love, and Wonder resonated with global audiences, reminding viewers of her emotional range and her power to carry a story. In 2018, she made her television debut with the Amazon series Homecoming, stepping into the world of psychological thrillers and earning critical acclaim once again. She's also stepped into producing, lending her creative insight behind the scenes, a natural progression for someone with such a rich understanding of storytelling. Julia Roberts, aloe vera t-shirt, on-set tension, and media backlash. Julia Roberts has long been hailed as one of the most beloved figures in Hollywood. Her megawatt smile, box office success, and reputation as America's sweetheart have helped her maintain a place in the public's good graces for over 3 decades. But behind the bright spotlight of fame, Julia Roberts has also faced her fair share of controversies, criticisms, and complicated public moments. Like many stars who rise to meteoric fame, Roberts hasn't been immune to scrutiny, from personal fallouts to strained relationships, from career missteps to accusations of difficult behavior. The Julia Roberts story isn't as simple as her rom-coms might suggest, and while some controversies faded quickly, others lingered, shaping how the world sees the woman behind the fame. So what are the most talked about issues and moments that have complicated Julia Roberts' otherwise glittering reputation? Let's take a closer look. One of the earliest controversies in Julia Roberts' career that grabbed tabloid attention came in the early 2000s, surrounding her relationship with cinematographer Danny Motor. Before they married, Motor was still legally married to his then-wife, Vera Steinberg. Though Roberts and Motor have always denied any wrongdoing, the public fallout was intense. What inflamed the situation even more was a now infamous paparazzi photo of Roberts wearing a homemade T-shirt with the words "Aloe Vera" scrawled across it. The cryptic message was widely interpreted as a not-so-subtle jab at Steinberg, which fueled headlines accusing Roberts of being disrespectful and petty. Roberts never formally explained the shirt, and while some fans brushed it off as an impulsive moment, others criticized her for being tone-deaf and adding drama to an already delicate situation. Regardless of the intent, the image left a lasting impression and became one of the few public moments when Roberts let emotion override her typically composed public persona. Over the years, Julia Roberts has also faced criticism for alleged difficult behavior on set. While she is often praised for her professionalism and talent, there have been instances where industry insiders have suggested that she could be demanding or cold behind the scenes. One such example dates back to the filming of Hook in 1991, where Roberts played Tinker Bell. Reports from the time indicated tension between Roberts and director Steven Spielberg, with rumors that she isolated herself from the cast and crew. The press dubbed her Tinker Hell, and the nickname stuck for a while. Spielberg later downplayed the situation, but admitted in interviews that working with Roberts during that period had its challenges. Roberts herself acknowledged that she was going through a rough patch personally at the time, which may have impacted her mood on set. Critics also pointed to her highly publicized withdrawals from projects as evidence of unpredictability. For instance, in the mid-1990s, she abruptly pulled out of starring roles in films like Shakespeare in Love and Stepmom, the latter she eventually returned to. Some viewed this as Roberts exerting her power, while others saw it as a lack of commitment. Her decision-making, while within her right as a star of her caliber, didn't always sit well with directors and producers. However, her box office draw often gave her the leverage to take those risks, something few other actresses of the time could do. Outside of her film career, Julia Roberts has also been involved in public feuds, particularly one that stirred headlines in the early 2000s, involving fellow actress and former co-star Susan Sarandon. While the two eventually worked together on Stepmom, rumors swirled for years about tension between the two stars. Sarandon later clarified that the reports of feuding were exaggerated, even suggesting that media outlets deliberately created drama between them. However, the story had already made its rounds, and the idea of Roberts clashing with another respected actress fueled ongoing speculation about her personality behind the scenes. Another controversy that has followed Roberts over the years involves her activism. While she's been applauded for lending her voice to environmental and humanitarian causes, some have questioned the depth of her commitment, particularly when she's appeared in luxury fashion campaigns or traveled extensively for film projects. Critics have accused her at times of hypocrisy, especially when promoting eco-conscious brands, while living a lifestyle that from the outside appears quite lavish. That said, this kind of scrutiny is hardly unique to Roberts. Many celebrities who speak on social issues face similar challenges when their personal lives are put under the microscope. Roberts' relationship with the media has also seen its share of ups and downs. Early in her career, she was a frequent tabloid subject, with every romantic relationship and red carpet appearance examined in obsessive detail. She pushed back against that spotlight in the 2000s, retreating from Hollywood and granting fewer interviews. Some interpreted this as Roberts being overly controlling or evasive, while others saw it as a healthy boundary in a notoriously invasive industry. Either way, her decision to take control of her public image marked a shift in how she engaged with fame, and in some circles that choice was met with resistance. Then there's the question of representation. For all of her achievements, Roberts has also faced criticism for taking on roles that some viewers felt could have gone to women of different backgrounds. In an era of growing awareness about diversity and inclusion, some of her past casting choices have been re-evaluated through a more critical lens. How Lyle Lovett became a Texas singer-songwriter, jazz and film composer, and musical icon. Lyle Lovett is a name that may not always appear in the brightest lights of the mainstream music scene, but his influence and contributions to country and Americana music are undeniable. With his distinctive voice, eclectic musical style, and heartfelt lyrics, Lovett has managed to carve out a place for himself as one of the most respected singer-songwriters in the world. Born on November 1, 1957 in Klein, Texas, Lyle Lovett grew up in a musical environment that encouraged creativity. His father, a local business owner, and his mother, a teacher, were both music lovers, and they often exposed him to a wide range of musical genres. From an early age, Lovett was drawn to the sounds of traditional country music, jazz, and blues. These early influences would eventually come together to shape his unique sound, a blend of country, folk, jazz, and even gospel. Lovett's first brush with music came through the piano, but it was the guitar that truly captured his heart. He began playing the instrument in his teenage years, and by the time he was in college, Lovett had already started performing in small venues in and around Houston, Texas. After graduating from Texas A&M University with a degree in journalism, Lovett moved to Austin, where he began to make a name for himself in the city's burgeoning live music scene. In 1986, Lovett released his self-titled debut album, which marked the beginning of a career that would span decades. While his early music was rooted in country and folk traditions, it also incorporated elements of jazz, pop, and even classical music, making it clear that Lovett was more than just another country singer. His debut album was met with critical acclaim, showcasing his ability to blend genres in a way that few other artists could match. What set Lovett apart from other artists in the country music world was his deep, soulful voice and his ability to craft songs that were both personal and universal. His lyrics often explored themes of love, loss, and personal reflection, resonating with listeners on an emotional level. At the same time, his songs were infused with humor and wit, reflecting the diverse influences that shaped his musical identity. Lovett's breakthrough moment came with the release of his 1989 album, Lyle Lovett and His Large Band, which featured a collection of tracks that showcased his versatility as a musician and his ability to collaborate with other talented artists. The album's title was a nod to Lovett's expansive sound, which often incorporated big band jazz, blues, and western swing elements. The album received widespread praise, earning Lovett his first Grammy Award for Best Male Country Vocal Performance for the song Cowboy Man. Following the success of Lyle Lovett and His Large Band, Lovett continued to build on his growing reputation as a multifaceted artist. He released a series of albums throughout the 1990s, each showcasing his continued evolution as a songwriter and performer. Albums like Joshua Judge's Ruth, 1992, and I Love Everybody, 1994, further cemented his place in the country music world, but also helped him gain recognition in the broader Americana and roots music scenes. In addition to his musical career, Lovett's distinctive look, complete with his trademark curly hair and often sporty attire, made him stand out in a sea of more traditional country music stars. His quirky sense of style, paired with his unique musical approach, earned him a loyal following of fans who appreciated his willingness to break from tradition and take risks with his sound. Perhaps one of the most enduring aspects of Lovett's career has been his ability to stay true to himself, even in the face of changing musical tastes and industry trends. While many artists have shifted their styles to keep up with the ever-changing demands of the music business, Lovett has remained committed to his roots, continuing to produce music that is both personal and authentic. This dedication to his craft has earned him the respect of his peers in the music industry, and has ensured that his songs continue to resonate with listeners even decades into his career. Lovett has also been recognized for his contributions to film music. In the 1990s, he began to gain attention for his work as a composer and musician for film soundtracks. His work on the soundtrack for the film The Player, 1992, as well as his appearances in films like Shortcuts, 1993, and Be Here to Love Me, 2004, helped solidify his place as an artist who could bridge the gap between music and film in a way that was both artistic and innovative. Though he remains primarily known for his music, Lovett has also ventured into acting. His film career is notable for its diversity in roles, as he's appeared in dramas, comedies, and even westerns. His acting career has always been secondary to his music, but it has given fans a glimpse into his versatility and ability to take on a wide range of characters. His appearances in films like The Player, Cookie's Fortune, 1999, and Pret-a-Porter, 1994, reflect his adaptability and willingness to take on interesting and varied roles, much like his approach to music. Lyle Lovett's failed marriage, musical shifts, and struggles with country music. Lyle Lovett is undoubtedly one of the most respected and multi-talented artists in the music industry. Over the years, his unique blend of country, jazz, and Americana has earned him a devoted fan base and widespread recognition. However, like many public figures, Lyle Lovett's career has not been without its share of challenges, issues, and controversies. Despite maintaining a relatively low profile when it comes to scandals, his journey has had its moments that have sparked conversation and reflection in both the music world and popular culture. One of the most well-known aspects of Lyle Lovett's life is his brief marriage to actress Julia Roberts. The couple's relationship, which lasted from 1993 to 1995, attracted a great deal of media attention, given Roberts' status as one of the biggest movie stars of the time. It was widely speculated that Lovett's own fame, while significant, could not compare to the public's fascination with Roberts. The media frenzy surrounding their relationship often overshadowed Lovett's musical career, and he became an object of scrutiny due to his connection to the Hollywood superstar. While this public interest may not have been controversial in itself, it added to the pressures Lovett faced as a country singer, trying to carve out a distinct identity in the entertainment industry. The marriage, while short-lived, became a point of discussion long after their divorce. Critics and fans alike speculated about the real reasons behind their breakup, with many assuming that the pressures of the media attention and differing lifestyle choices might have played a role. For Lovett, this relationship wasn't just a personal experience, it became intertwined with his public persona. After their separation, some media outlets and fans expressed disappointment over the end of the marriage, with many accusing Lovett of not being able to hold on to a Hollywood starlet. This kind of narrative overshadowed the fact that he was a successful musician in his own right, and his artistic identity was often brushed aside in favor of tabloid-style discussions. This dynamic reflects the unfair pressures that celebrities, particularly those married to high-profile figures, often face. Lyle Lovett's marriage to Julia Roberts wasn't the only aspect of his personal life that attracted public scrutiny. As a successful musician, Lovett was often placed under the spotlight for his personal choices, including his decision to keep his private life out of the public eye after his divorce. In an industry where personal branding often overlaps with public identity, Lovett's insistence on maintaining a low-key existence led some to question whether his quiet demeanor was a strategic choice or a result of the constant media attention he had faced in the past. Some critics argued that Lovett's reticence about his personal life, especially following his marriage to Roberts, could have affected his career. As a musician known for his storytelling and lyricism, some questioned whether his avoidance of personal narratives limited his artistic expression. His reluctance to share personal details may have made it difficult for fans and the media to connect with him on a deeper level, particularly when compared to other artists who were more open about their lives. While Lovett was often regarded as a private person, this decision to maintain a distance from the media at times led to misunderstandings, as some speculated that he was merely shy or unwilling to engage with the public. Another area of controversy for Lovett was his decision to experiment with different musical genres throughout his career. While his blend of country, jazz, and Americana helped set him apart from other artists, some critics were unsure about the direction he was taking with his music. Some fans, particularly those who were more familiar with his country roots, struggled to accept the more eclectic and varied sounds that began to define his later work. While these genre shifts were ultimately a testament to Lovett's musical versatility, they raised questions about the artist's authenticity. Many fans and critics struggled to reconcile the Lyle Lovett they had come to know with the more adventurous and genre-bending side of his music. His earlier albums, which included a mix of traditional country, western, and folk influences, were highly praised for their storytelling and intimate reflections on life in rural America. As his career progressed, however, Lovett began incorporating jazz, pop, and even orchestral elements into his music. While this expansion of musical boundaries was undoubtedly a reflection of his creativity, it also led some to question whether Lovett had abandoned the style that originally made him successful. For some critics, these musical choices seemed like an attempt to appeal to a broader audience, something that is often perceived as a sellout move in the music world. In the eyes of certain fans, this shift away from Lovett's country roots was seen as a departure from the very essence of what made him unique. The artist's decision to embrace a wider array of genres was polarizing, and it sparked debates over whether artists should remain faithful to their roots or evolve with the changing times. Furthermore, Lovett's sometimes ironic, satirical approach to songwriting also created some friction among listeners who didn't fully understand his sense of humor or social commentary. Some fans of his earlier work found it difficult to embrace his more sarcastic or whimsical lyrics, while others appreciated the depth of Lovett's wit. His musical style, which could oscillate between sincere and sardonic, made it challenging for some listeners to connect with the music on a personal level. Lyle Lovett and Julia Roberts are two names that, when mentioned together, inevitably spark curiosity. Their marriage, though brief, was one of the most talked-about Hollywood unions of the early 1990s. In an era where celebrity marriages were often under the spotlight, their relationship was no exception, capturing the attention of both the media and the public. Lyle Lovett and Julia Roberts' paths first crossed in the early 1990s, a time when both were at significant points in their careers. Roberts had already established herself as one of the most popular and bankable actresses of the decade, thanks to her roles in films like Pretty Woman and My Best Friend's Wedding. Lovett, on the other hand, was a rising star in the country and Americana music scene, known for his unique blend of country, jazz, and folk influences. While they came from different worlds, their shared interest in the arts and their down-to-earth personalities brought them together. Their relationship moved quickly, with the two reportedly becoming close friends almost immediately. Their shared love for music and their similar values and lifestyles led them to spend more time together. They often attended concerts and events together, bonding over their mutual appreciation for the arts. Lovett, despite his own fame, never seemed to be one to seek the limelight in the way that Roberts did, and this was something that many close to them noted. Roberts, despite being one of the biggest stars in the world at the time, seemed to relish in the simpler moments spent away from the Hollywood hustle. In 1993, after a relatively short time together, Lovett and Roberts surprised the public by announcing their engagement. The news of their engagement sent shockwaves through the media, with many questioning how a country singer and a world-renowned actress had managed to find each other, let alone fall in love. Their relationship was unexpected, and many of the details surrounding their engagement seemed to defy the traditional expectations of Hollywood romances. In a bold move that was typical of the couple's unorthodox relationship, Lovett and Roberts chose to marry in a private ceremony in June 1993. The wedding was a low-key affair, with very few details being made public. Unlike many celebrity weddings, which are often lavish and highly publicized, Lovett and Roberts managed to keep their ceremony largely out of the media spotlight. This decision to maintain privacy was a testament to how both of them felt about their relationship. Despite their immense fame, they sought to keep the focus on their bond rather than on the spectacle of their union. The wedding itself was as understated as their relationship had been. Lovett, who had always been a man of few words, seemed content to let the love he shared with Roberts speak for itself. Roberts, on the other hand, appeared to value the intimacy and quiet nature of the ceremony. In an industry where public declarations of love are often followed by high-profile, over-the-top events, their decision to marry in such a private, personal manner was refreshing to many. However, the intense media scrutiny that surrounded their relationship could not be avoided. While the couple did their best to maintain privacy, they were still very much public figures. Their marriage, like any high-profile union, was the subject of constant tabloid attention. The media was fascinated by the combination of Roberts' Hollywood glamour and Lovett's down-to-earth, humble persona. This fascination turned their marriage into a story of curiosity and speculation. As time went on, the public's interest only grew. Some outlets seemed determined to analyze every aspect of their relationship, and the constant attention took its toll. The couple was frequently photographed together at public events, and while they both tried to avoid the spotlight, it was impossible to escape. Lovett, in particular, was known for his private nature, and being thrust into the public eye so frequently likely felt uncomfortable for him. Roberts, meanwhile, was used to the scrutiny, having been in the public eye for years, but even she found the constant attention overwhelming at times. Julia Roberts reveals why she left Lyle Lovett after 25 years. It's been 25 years since Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett's marriage ended, yet the curious minds of fans and media have never fully let go of the mystery surrounding the breakup. While Julia Roberts is known for her successful career, her personal life, particularly her brief marriage to the country singer, has always remained an area of intrigue. Now, after more than 2 decades, Julia has finally opened up about why she and Lyle Lovett ultimately called it quits. Their marriage, though unexpected, seemed to be going well in the public eye. But in March 1995, just 2 years after tying the knot, Roberts and Lovett announced their separation. The news of their divorce sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with fans and journalists alike questioning what had happened between the two. Despite their relatively brief marriage, the public interest surrounding their breakup was immense. Many found it hard to believe that such a beloved star like Julia Roberts would part ways with someone as well regarded as Lyle Lovett. For years, Roberts and Lovett both remained largely silent about the reasons behind their split. The public only knew that despite their deep affection for one another, they ultimately couldn't make it work. Their decision to keep their personal lives private was respected by many, but the silence only fueled speculation. Fast forward to 2025, and Julia Roberts, now a seasoned actress with decades of experience in Hollywood, has finally decided to break her silence and address the reasons behind the end of her marriage to Lyle Lovett. In a candid interview, Roberts revealed that while her relationship with Lovett was filled with love, the pressures of living under the constant gaze of the public eye played a major role in their separation. "I think the hardest thing was the attention," Roberts explained in the interview. "When you're living your life with someone and it feels so normal and real, but then the world around you is constantly watching, commenting, and analyzing everything. It's a lot to carry. We both had to deal with our own individual pressures, but it became clear to me that we were living 2 very different lives," Roberts continued, emphasizing that their connection was genuine. But the differences between their careers and public personas eventually created an insurmountable gap. Lovett, known for his relatively private and grounded lifestyle, was often caught off guard by the level of public scrutiny they both faced. In contrast, Roberts, though she had become accustomed to the spotlight, found herself in a position where she was forced to constantly defend their relationship in the media. It was a difficult period, she admitted. We didn't know how to handle the pressure, and ultimately, we both realized that we weren't being true to ourselves in the way we needed to be. In the interview, Roberts made it clear that the decision to separate was ultimately a mutual one. Both she and Lovett realized that their lives were heading in different directions. Roberts went on to focus on her career, starring in some of the biggest films of the 90s and early 2000s, while Lovett continued to make music, carving out a career that kept him far from the media spotlight.